Today we're going to be installing the clam door. The clam door comes in one piece, all assembled the way you see it right now, with our nice stainless steel hinges. Our pistons are on the inside, and we'll show you all that in a little bit. But first off, I just want to point out that our clam door comes fully assembled in one piece and weighs about 70 pounds completely. A couple of features and benefits I want to point out is, first off, we have some great stainless steel strap hinges that are going to help in assisting our lid to open up. The door is 100% fiberglass. We've got a T-handle right here for easy opening. The gas pistons will allow the lid to lift with ease. On the inside, you'll see our gas pistons here. We also have these heavy-duty bungees for extra security and a pull-down handle as well for the ease.
And here's Rick Cosimini. He's going to be installing our clam door today.
So we're going to be installing the large clam door today. And the first thing on installation, you have to make sure that from the foundation of the house to the end of the foundation wall is at least 73 inches. We have 76, so we have plenty of length. And from side to side, the specifications is 55 inches for the large clam door. And today we have 64 inches, so you're plenty wide also.
Rick is going to start moving the clam door into position. As he's bringing the door into the foundation area, he's going to sit it down neatly on the foundation, and he's going to make sure that the clam door is square to your sidewall versus square to your foundation. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. When we remove the clam door from our molds, you'll notice that we have a bow in the rear flange here. That's perfectly normal. When we install the door and fasten it to sidewall, we want to make sure that the flange is tight against your sidewall.
The next thing we're going to do after you've got it square with the wall of the building, whatever trim you're going to be using, you want to take a small block. This is a 3.5 inch block of 5/4 cedar, and we'll put it on the side, the upper half of the side, and you would mark a pencil line on the right side of this, and then you would cut this out on a plumb line. Make sure it's level. You cut that out. On the top here, we'll make sure it's a 1/2 inch overhang on the bulkhead, and there's going to be a 3/4 cap on this, so it'll look like this on a finished product. So make sure you're at least 1/2 inch to 3/4 down on the top of your bulkhead, and you would do the same on the other side. The next thing we need to do after you've cut out your perimeter is to put some kind of flashing drip cap like you would do on a door or a window. You can use lead or metal flashing. You can use a drip cap. There's many different materials you can use, but we're using lead today. The next part of installing the clam door is from the sheathing to the beginning part of your foundation wall. You have to be 66 inches on the large clam door so that your threshold on the clam door doesn't protrude into your egress of your step. So whatever it protrudes in, if it does, all you have to do is add that to the sheathing, whether it's 1.5 inches you bring it out or 3 inches. That's what we're doing now. So this is actually 1.5 inches in from the threshold, the first step. So we need to bring it back 1.5 inches, and that's why we're adding the pressure-treated 2x4s as a perimeter to pack us out like an extension jam. When we put the pressure-treated in for our extension jam, you want to cut small blocks of 3/4 that you're going to make the finish work on the side. Put a piece on the top and also on the bottom to make sure that you're plumb with your cut, and then you screw it into the wall there. After we've framed out for what we need to make sure that the threshold is not intruding on an egress of our step, the next thing to do is to measure on the top to your framing, which is 1.7/16 inches on this side. And we go to this side, we make sure it's going to be approximately the same, 1.7/16 inches on this side. So now you know that you're square with the framing and you're square with the house.
Our clam door threshold is about 6 inches. And we just want to make sure that the clam door is situated right on top of the foundation and doesn't come over into the foundation itself, because that would cause a trip hazard. Anybody walking up might get their toe caught underneath the threshold, or coming down, it might overstep the first step. So we just want to make sure that the clam door threshold fits neatly right on top of your foundation.
Once you've placed the clam door on the foundation and you've placed it against the house and you're square with the house, it's important to just mark the corners here. So when we use the wedge bolts on the inside corner here, the cap is completely square with the base. It's very important that the cap is square. So by marking the corners, you will keep yourself square with the cap. The next thing we're going to do to install the clam door is we're going to fasten it to the house and also to the foundation. You need to pre-drill the holes for the screws on the top, maybe approximately 8 to 10 inches apart on the top, about 1/4 of an inch down. After we get the top secure, you want to take a measurement from the top to your rough framing and make sure it's the same on the top and also on the bottom. And because concrete isn't always level on a lot of foundations, sometimes you have to scribe just the beginning of the base here with a fine tool, or you can use a die grinder. Either one will work sufficient. And then when you cut underneath, it'll release the bottom so you can put it in the proper position. The next step is to use some weather flashing. This is a 3M product, which is probably the most desirable, but you can also use Vicor or any other product that they use to do windows. So we'll do the sides first, overlapping the sides and overlapping the top. So if any water gets behind your trim, it'll go on top of your flashing and the counter flash and come out on top of the clam door. We are now going to fasten the base to the foundation. Before you do that, make sure you close the cover gently. Make sure that the handle closes very lightly, that it's not a struggle to lock it. And once you've secured that, you want to make sure you're on your traced lines that we drew before. We open the cover. The next thing you do is you want to take about a 1/2 inch drill bit, and we want to pilot drill about 1 inch in from the edge. Once you've checked the clam lid with the base and it's square and the handle is very freely opening and closing, you want to put your foot on the clam door when you open it to keep the base in the proper position. And then you want to do the drilling. To do the finish work on the rough framing, the first thing you want to do is you want to install the cap first, which we already installed. And the next thing you want to do is you want to take your 5/4 trim and you want to dado out the width from the fiberglass to your rough framing. Sometimes it's 5/8, 3/4, whatever that amount is, you have to dado out the back of the 5/4 trim so that it sits like this. So you want to stop your dado cuts about 2 inches, 1.5 inches from each end, so that this end here is all wood and there's no cut lines in it, so you don't have to fill it in with any kind of filler. While installing the trim work on the side pieces, you want to scribe around the base here. So you want to put your pencil along the base and trace a line along the top, and then put it in and make sure you're flush with the side, and bring it down and bring your pencil line up so you're going parallel to the clam door, and then cut this little piece out and it should slide in very easily like this, like so. And then nail it in and you're finished with your framing. We're on the final step now to installing the clam door. We've picture framed our rough framing. We've secured it with screws to the rough framing. We've put 2 lag bolts on the inside of the framing so that no fasteners are shown on the outside and the perimeter, and it has a much cleaner look. And now we're going to just caulk around underneath the drip cap to make sure no water gets underneath the drip cap, and then we will caulk the perimeter.
So there you have it. That's our clam door installed. While we recognize that there are different methods of installation, whether it's here in Rhode Island, in the Northeast, or to the West Coast, the principles are all the same. This is our Clam door. Thanks for watching.